Coming up, I'll help you master the armored armada that is GDI. And leaderboards, what determines your rank and level. Plus, want to be triumphant at 2v2? I'll break down some team strategies you never even thought possible. So pay attention. This is Command School. You're watching Command School. I'm Greg Kasavin. More than 20,000 players log online every day to play CNC3. So what's your ladder rank? Command School is all about making you a top player, and this month's no different. With 10 grand and fabulous prizes at stake in the CNC3 League, there's no time like the present to start your pro career. Let's take a look at how this system works in our first segment for noobs only. Your level is based on experience gained from playing matches online. You gain experience both from wins and losses in both ranked and unranked matches, though ranked wins give you the most experience. You even gain experience from playing against computer opponents online. Your level is therefore a measure of your total experience playing CNC3, but not necessarily your skill. Just because a player is of a much higher level than you doesn't necessarily mean that he's much better than you. On the other hand, your ladder rank is based on the ELO rating system popularized by competitive chess. ELO is actually not an acronym, but the name of the guy who created this system. It rewards players able to defeat opponents of a higher rank and makes it difficult to rank up by being a bottom feeder and picking on lesser skilled opponents. When you play an opponent of your same rank, the winner takes 32 points from the loser, but that number ranges between 1 and 64 depending on the difference in your and your opponent's rank. Defeat someone much lower than you and you'll only take 1 point from them. But if they come out on top, they'll steal an incredible 64 points from you. This means if you want to be the best, you've got to challenge the best. We'll help make sure you're prepared with the next installment of my faction feature, this time focusing on the Global Defense Initiative. GDI is a versatile faction characterized by tough, dependable units. It's a great faction to play if you like taking the fight straight to the enemy's doorstep. A good early to mid-game unit composition for GDI involves missile squads, predator tanks, and APCs with sniper teams. This is a force that can deal with any type of challenge within reason. Of course, most GDI players love to work their way up to GDI's emblematic mammoth tanks. Get those mammoths as quickly as possible, and then give them railgun upgrades as soon as you can. Mammoths are very powerful in most situations, but they're not invincible. Be sure to support your mammoths with anti-infantry units like sniper teams or even a commando, since massed infantry can give them a tough time. Many new players equate the GDI Juggernaut with the Nod Avatar or Scrin Annihilator tripod because all three leave a husk when killed and they've all got legs. But in a one-on-one duel with those other guys, the Juggernaut is going to lose every single time. It's actually an artillery unit closer to the Nod Beam Cannon or Scrin Devastator warship. It can outrange any base defense, including the Obelisk, Storm Column, and Sonic Emitter, and it's designed to level enemy structures. But if it's a heavy vehicle you're looking to square off against, like those pesky avatars and tripods, stick with the Mammoth. GDI also have the only ultra-long-range bombardment option in the game. A sniper team can be a Juggernaut's eyes for a powerful bombardment of limitless range. Click Bombard, Control A, from a selection of Juggernauts, and you'll be able to target any structure or area within the range of a sniper team, no matter how far away the Juggernauts are. You'll usually want to cover the initial bombardment attack with a distraction of some sort, as the snipers unstealth briefly to give the bombard command. Make your first salvo count. As soon as the opponent knows you're bombarding, he'll do everything he can to kill your snipers. GDI tanks are relatively slow and expensive, but they're incredibly powerful. Their aircraft fit this trend too. Just take a look at the Firehawk. It can be outfitted for ground bombing or air-to-air missiles, but these fighters have a long commute back to the base between firing. Since reloading takes so much time, it's usually smart to put your Firehawks on hold fire stance. This way they won't attack until you give the order, saving you a few precious bombs. Like the Juggernauts, Firehawks can also attack something anywhere on the map. The upgrade is called Stratofighter Boosters, and it's researched at your tech lab. With it, Firehawks fly straight up off the map and nosedive wherever you want them to. Use your radar scan to find a good spot, and if you decide to be bold, aim for the back of his base. Stratofighter boosters can really help get your Firehawks out of a pinch too. Even with all these GDI tips, you can't save the world from Tiberium on your own. It's time to take a look at becoming an unstoppable force with an ally. In 2v2 matches, you can build in your ally's base in the area surrounding his construction yard. This allows you to help your ally out of a bind with some well-placed base defenses, and if your own base is under siege, you can save yourself by planting a refinery and war factory in your ally's space to get back on your feet. You'll also get some cool unit combinations in 2v2 matches not possible while flying solo. Try putting the Nod's Black Hand in a GDI APC and check out their spectacular range bonus. That's one of the nastiest anti-infantry units in the game. Nod can also use Cloaking Field on a group of APCs. If you garrison them with engineers, you'll have a stealth, shielded engineer rush, the deadliest in the game. Scrin can be a great ally to have too, since they can instantly help you with a lightning spike, swarm of buzzers, or stasis shield. And Scrin players can put growth accelerators in Nod and GDI bases early on to give them a long-run cash boost. Mixing and matching strategies can be fun and effective. Both players may want to coordinate an early rush to take out one of their opponents, but this is risky and can leave both players vulnerable. Alternatively, one player may lead on harassment tactics, allowing the other player to quietly tech up to his most powerful weapons. Remember to use beacons to inform your ally of what you're up to. Your ally gets a visual and audio cue
beacon placed
whenever you place a beacon using the B key. And did you know? AI teammates will also respond to beacons by sending any available forces their way. Check that out. Alright, let's hand it over to you for this month's edition of Command School Honors. To get your strat featured on Command School Honors, email it over to commandschool@ea.com. If you make the grade, maybe you can come to the head of the class. Tonight's strategy was submitted by Incia. This little number is called the Stealthed Outpost Rush. Let's take a look. Playing as Nod, immediately queue a surveyor, then build a power plant, refinery, and operations center. Send your surveyor toward your opponent's base and throw on a cloaking field. While it's en route, build a secret shrine, then queue a disruption tower and a hand of Nod. Sneak the surveyor past your enemy's base, just barely out of line of sight, and deploy it. The second that outpost is up, drop the disruption tower and then the hand of Nod, as close to the enemy conyard as possible while still remaining cloaked. This is the risky part. You may want to fly in a few shadow teams and let them get detected to keep your opponent distracted. Crank out a few engineers and anti-infantry base defenses and take over your opponent's base. If the attack fails at any point, well, at least you've still got a refinery up. Turtle for a while until you're back on your feet, then see how things play out. Thanks to Incia for that very interesting tactic. As always, if you think you're smarter than Command School, email your replay over to commandschool@ea.com. Before we go, it's time for the GameReplays.org Tip of the Week.
The Tip of the Week, brought to you by GameReplays.org.
Tonight's tip is all about distractions. It's a great tie-in for players trying out the Juggernaut's Bombard ability or Incia's strategy. When you send in a few distraction waves at your enemy all over the map at the same time, his attention is going to wholly shift to the macro level. This is a great opportunity for you to send in some of those trickier unit combos, like snipers for a Juggernaut Bombard. And it's not just useful for GDI. Nod can use a distraction to sneak in some flame tanks or stealth tanks, and any faction can use one to micro in an engineer or commando and wreak massive chaos. Multiple small-scale distractions are great for quick maneuvers like burning down a conyard or taking out a superweapon. But if you're ready to deal the death blow, you'll need to try a flank. 5 Scorpions on one side simply won't keep your enemy's eyes off the 15 avatars on the other. Send a medium-sized balanced wave at his main entrance, but flank it with a slightly larger or higher tech wave in a side entrance. Try reverse moving the first group to draw his forces out. It might just give you enough time to finish off his base. For more tips, head on over to GameReplays.org. Well, that's about it for this month. Tune in next episode for more exclusive tips, tricks, and secrets. Until then, for Command School, I'm Greg Kasavin. Dev tested, player approved. See you online.